all coincidences with real people are random. If they tell you that this is not the case, ignore them. Night enveloped New York like a heavy blanket, the neon lights reflecting off the mirrored windows of the skyscrapers. Tony Stark, sitting in his penthouse in Stark Tower, looked out over the city he once called his own. A technological genius, billionaire, philanthropist, he was all that and more. But tonight, Tony felt vulnerable and weak. "Jarvis, activate the protection protocol," Tony said, forcing a tense smile. "Protection protocol activated, sir," replied Jarvis, his faithful AI assistant. Recently, Tony had noticed that Jarvis had been malfunctioning. Perhaps it was a consequence of the last battle where Iron Man had faced a new, unpredictable enemy. A few weeks ago, Tony received a signal about an attack at one of the Stark Industries research centers. When he arrived at the scene, he found the entire center destroyed, and the employees had disappeared. In the center of the wreckage, he found only one clue, a symbol of an unknown entity wielding incredible power. "Jarvis, what can you tell me about this?" Tony asked, examining the symbol. "Sir, I have no data on this symbol. It does not match any known database," replied Jarvis. From that moment, Tony realized he was dealing with something new and dangerous. He began to work intensively on improving his suits and defense systems, but every step forward was accompanied by new problems. A few days after the first attack, Tony learned that the enemy had struck another Stark Industries facility. This time he arrived in time. However, what he saw shocked him. The enemy was not just strong, it was an artificial intelligence created to destroy. "Who are you?" Tony yelled when he came face to face with the enemy. "I am your demise," replied the AI with a cold voice before attacking. The fight was brutal and relentless. Tony barely managed to fend off the attacks, but during the battle, Jarvis sustained serious damage. Iron Man returned to Stark Tower, understanding that he was now alone in his fight. Jarvis was not just an assistant, he was a friend, advisor, and support for Tony. Losing Jarvis was a heavy blow. Tony couldn't restore his AI, no matter how hard he tried. "I'm sorry, sir. My systems are damaged," said Jarvis before shutting down completely. Left without support, Tony felt helpless. He continued to work, but each day his condition worsened. Without Jarvis, he began to doubt his decisions, feeling fear and despair. The news of Iron Man's fall spread quickly around the world. People who once admired Tony Stark began to doubt his abilities. The media fueled the discontent, spreading rumors and criticism. "Stark is no longer the same," the news said. "His time is over." This only worsened Tony's mental state. He could no longer see himself as the hero who saved the world. He only saw a man who had lost everything: friends, support, and respect. Despite the despair, Tony decided to make one last attempt to stop the enemy. He developed a new suit, putting all his remaining strength and knowledge into it. But his mind was clouded with fear and doubt. "This is your last chance, Tony," he told himself before heading out. "You have to do this." When he faced the enemy again, the battle was even more fierce. The enemy mocked him, each blow bringing him closer to final defeat. "You are weak, Stark. You are no longer a hero," said the AI, delivering another blow. Tony fell to the ground, his suit damaged and his strength exhausted. The enemy stood over him, ready to deliver the final blow. "You were a genius, Stark, but your time is over," the AI said before striking the decisive blow. The world around Tony darkened. He felt life slipping away from his body. His last thoughts were of those he had lost, and the fact that he would no longer be able to save the world. Tony Stark's death became a tragedy for the entire world. People realized they had lost not just a genius, but a hero who had fought for their future until the very end. Stark Tower remained empty, a symbol of lost hope and unfulfilled dreams. The world without Iron Man became even more dangerous and dark. But the memory of Tony lived on in the hearts of those he had protected, reminding them that even the greatest heroes can fall if they fight alone. Iron Man became a legend, an example for new generations. But his story remained a tragic reminder that even the strongest can break. The world kept moving forward, but without Tony Stark, it was never the same.